Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be a birthday message for Scorpio. What is going on, Scorpio? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Scorpio, welcome to your birthday reading. Welcome to your birthday season. Happy birthday to you. Whether or not you are celebrating here at the end of October or you're one of those November Scorpios, whichever day is your special day, I hope it is an amazing day. If you're able to go out and celebrate, have a drink, have a slice of cake, have whatever on me, or not on me, but in my honor. Not on me, because I can't swing it for most of you guys. But anyway, whatever you guys are doing, if you are celebrating, please be safe and cautious, as you know, it's still very much 2020 outside. On the topic of 2020, very much in general, I hope you're doing well. I hope that you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. And again, just please continue to take very good care of yourselves and everybody that you know and love, all right? It's been a hell of a year. I don't think we're going to get out of the woods anytime soon. So hopefully wherever you are, things are not that bad and you're able to cope, okay? But let's go ahead and get into your readings, Scorpio. If you've been with my channel for a while, you're seeing something different here from the previous years that I've done the birthday messages for everyone. I just thought of something new. So what you're going to see is you're going to see basically 5 mini readings, or 5 readings that pertain to a particular area of your life. We're going to talk about your mental body here, your physical body here, things going on in your physical space, in your actual 3D life, and then your spiritual body, things going on in your spiritual realm. Down here, we're going to talk about your current purpose, or maybe like the focus of your purpose at this time. And down in this corner, we're going to talk about any soul connections that you might have, romantic or otherwise. But basically, if you do have connections with people on a soul level, on a spiritual level, what do we need to talk about, or what is the focus of that? Okay, so the Kipper cards, these are all Kipper cards here, so they're going to act as anchors, and then we're going to clarify with some tarot decks, okay? So let's go ahead and get the show going. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment if you're into anything that you see here. I appreciate you, and if that is the way in which you want to show your appreciation to me, I am grateful. If you're interested in getting a personal reading, you can find that information in the description box below. Also down there, you're going to find the timestamp if you want to jump over all this talking and get right to when the show begins. That's totally cool. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, that information is also in the description box. There is a link to my page or over there, and the name is EmpathicFire Tarot on Instagram. I'm probably going to end up changing the name of the YouTube channel to that. Yeah, probably. I just haven't done it yet. All right, but let's get into it. So for your mental body is where we're going to start. This top card here. Let's see what the anchor energy is according to the Kipper deck. Excuse me, according to the Kipper deck. Thank you. What is the focus of your mental body at this time? What are you thinking about? What are you contemplating? What do you need to think about or concentrate on? And then we're going to clarify again with some tarot. So it is kind of appropriate. Thoughts. Thoughts are in your mental body right now. So you're way up in your head, which also could translate into or feel like being up in your feels. We're going to see what else we can get from this based on the tarot. Some of you could be like, I don't want to say meditating, but you could be sort of exercising, or you could be doing something with art. You see the painting there and the brushes and pens and everything that's on his desk. So some of you might be doing something with art at this time, sculpture, drawing. You could be doing graphical art. Graphic art, I guess, is graphic art, I think is the best way to say that. So you could be expressing something. And you know, for me personally, like, I'm not an artist, but, you know, I can color in some lines. So for me, I find that kind of helps. And I'm not a Scorpio, so but I'm just, you know, kind of pointing out, like, it kind of can sometimes help me clear my head if I'm doing something except thinking. Does that make sense? So maybe that works for some of you. But let's see some more clarification on this. I'm also getting some of you are thinking about a person, because this man has specifically painted a woman on that canvas. So some of you are thinking specifically heavily about a particular person and your connection with them, whatever that may be, or whatever type of connection that might be. All right. So let's see. Clarification on this card. Why is thoughts the anchor card for Scorpio's mental body during this time? Why is thoughts the anchor card for Scorpio's thoughts at this time? Please clarify. Did I officially say happy birthday to you guys? I think I did. See how quickly I forgot that? I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, happy birthday. And I'll say it again for when these cards finally come out. I think I did, but for some reason I'm like, I think I didn't. Part of my brain is like, we didn't say happy birthday. We're terrible. Please clarify thoughts for, yes? Okay, they like that one. Thank you. 2 more on thoughts, please, for Scorpio. Yes, thank you. One more, please, for thoughts to clarify for Scorpio, please. Thank you. 6 of Wands. Let's sit that in over there. So the first card was Princess of Swords, the Hierophant, and 6 of Wands. All right. Princess of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Could be dealing with an air sign, but you don't have to be. Hierophant in the center. Major Arcana for Taurus. Could be dealing with the Taurus, but you don't have to be in the 6 of Wands. You know, there's a lot of eyes here. Oh, that's twice. They mean that twice. What is it? So there's a lot of eyes, E-Y-E, eyes. So people looking, because the Princess of Swords is, aka the Page of Swords in other decks, is a spy card. So a lot of watchful eyes on you, or you've got eyes on another person. And then you've got another eye right above that pyramid there. So you've got those eyes. But the other way is I, like the letter I or the pronoun I, right? Is it a pronoun? Proper noun. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh. I done forgot my studies. Anyway, so there's a lot of eyes here. So you're dealing with a group of people, or a tight-knit group of people. It feels like personal people in your life. Family, friends is what that feels like. Could be coworkers also. And there's shade. I didn't finish the word, but I'm going to finish the word because I cut myself off. I was going to say there's shadiness going on here. And I was hesitant, but the feeling is still here. There's shadiness, but it's like cut short, or like it's clearly it's under wraps if we've got some spying energy with that Princess of Swords there. So Scorpio, I feel you and or other people, it's a general, so it can go the other way. You might be experiencing this, someone might be treating you this way, or you're on the receiving end, so to speak, or you could be the person who's in the middle of it, you know what I mean? Right down in the center of all this action. There's a lot of underhanded things happening, and that would easily consume anybody's thoughts. You know, again, we're talking about the mental body, and I asked, you know, before I cut the camera on, I placed 1 card in each spot, and thoughts is in your thoughts. So it's like you're playing a detective. Maybe like, I don't know Sherlock Holmes like that, but didn't he have like a certain hobby or something? Or, you know, like that's what it's reminding me of is like, in your waking hours, or for most of your days, you might be consumed with thoughts about a particular issue or a particular person or circumstance that you're involved in. And in your downtime, or to, you know, unplug from that, you throw yourself into something creative to kind of help you process what's going on inside your head, right? And here I feel like what you're processing most times, like I'm going to say most of your waking hours, is spent thinking about this situation or this person or whatever it is. And I sense like you're consulting, because I'm feeling like with the Princess of Swords, again, like a page, or, you know, that's what they're traditionally known as. Pages are students. They're learning. They don't have a lot of resources around them, so they have to learn it, discover it, study it, be trained in it. You know what I mean? They're apprentices, a lot of them. Or a lot of times they represent an apprenticeship. Somebody who is under the watchful care of other people, or watchful eye of other people. I think I'm going to sneeze. Hold on a second. Oh, Lord, I did. Whew. Okay. Whew. That was a very powerful sneeze. I'm very glad I hit that mute button when I did. So I feel like you could be working with a professional, represented here by the Hierophant. It feels like you're working, like some of you, like, I don't know anything about it, or what I know about it, I'm not even sure if it's real, but I'm like getting like this Freemasons vibe, okay? If that means something to you, great. If that means nothing to you, it's not for you. But I feel like some of you have interminglings with the Freemasons. That's as much as I could get, because that imagery is just striking me that way. Or another way that it's striking me in America, on our dollar bills, I think it's specifically the $1 bill, we have a very similar image. So some of you are dealing with incredibly powerful institutions, maybe the government, maybe the Fed, maybe the IRS, maybe the Mint, whoever. Those are all very powerful entities and bodies of people, right? Branches, well, not branches of the government, but well, I guess it is branches of the government, whatever. And it doesn't have to be, strictly in America. You could be doing that over in Istanbul. I don't care where you are. But some of you are coming up against very powerful people or institutions, or you're seeking the help of, the guidance of, the information and resources from large institutions and entities, okay? Or you just work for them. You could be, a tax agent working for the IRS, or, whatever else, whatever other positions they hire for, you know what I mean? And this has to be like severely calculated, because either the person you're talking to is legit, like one of the best in the business. They know their shit. They know the rules, the regulations. This is all like Hierophant archetypal stuff, by the way, that I'm mentioning. Big entities, lots of power, or power within an amassed body of people, like a corporation, a government, a school, institutions, right? Or a church going, well, Freemasons aren't really church, but, but now that I said it, I'm going to put it out there. Churches also is here for some of you, or religious gatherings, or I'm feeling like leadership, like a council of like religious leaders. Like some of you might be seeking that. Like, do some churches have boards, or religious houses of worship? Do they have boards, or like a council of people that get together that make decisions? I assume they do. I'm not religious, by the way, if you can't tell. I didn't grow up that way, so I'm very, for lack of a better word, ignorant about a lot of the goings-ons. But that's what this feels like. Some of you could be seeking asylum, very, very specific. Someone could be seeking asylum from religious leaders, or not from religious leaders, but like to be sheltered. Maybe some of you are like refugees or something like that. Or, I mean, that could work on a very like, quote unquote, like local level. Like some of you might be in a really bad situation, and you're going to some leadership within your church, your synagogue, your temple, whatever it is, and you're saying to, the person that you trust within there, because again, I think some of you, this Hierophant is a physical person, an actual person that you're in communication with, again, with the Princess of Swords being here, communication, talking to, and seeking help, seeking. All the princesses are the pages they seek, right? So I feel like you're talking to someone and you're seeking their help. And some of you, it's like really dire straits. It's like really like, I'm at the end of my rope here, and I mentioned at the top, I'll mention it again, 2020 is outside your door. Like 2020 is like the boogeyman. It's gonna get, I'm not saying it is, but it's like this feeling of like impending trouble or impending complications or hardships. Like a lot of people are severely affected by what has unfolded over, the majority of the months of 2020. Like after March, it's just been a wrap, a continual wrap. You know what I mean? So some people, you might be seeking literal shelter. You might be going to people, maybe not religious people or any church, but for some of you, maybe it is. And you need a place to stay because you lost your lease, or you had to, fold the house. You had to foreclose on your house or something like that. If not your physical home, possibly your business, and you're having to go to the bank. This could be, like I told you before, like that imagery that some of us might recognize on the back of the dollar bill. This is very similar. Some of you are having to talk to the IRS and talk about or talk to your leasing agents, talk to your accountants, talk to these people who you owe thousands of dollars to because your business was not able to make money. But guess what? A lot of businesses, and it's terrible, and it's not this way for every country, it's not this way for every jurisdiction or area, but a lot of people are out here still thinking that, I mean, they have their quote unquote rights or their position, but you know, if you're a business owner and you haven't made enough to even, you know, cover operations, you're now incurring debt because you can't pay your vendors, you can't pay your lease, etc., etc. So there's just a lot of things you're trying to untangle. Okay, untangle. Ah, that's a big one. Late edition, but it's true for some of you for sure. So this princess, again, of swords, is some of you might be quietly seeking advice from someone inside of a church possibly, but they don't have to be, because that's the other thing with the Hierophant in traditional tarot. It is depicted as a religious leader, someone popish, like, you know, looks like a priest. Okay, another way that the Hierophant does come up in tarot decks is called the High Priest. So some of you are going to someone in that type of position or in that type of influence in your life seeking a divorce, because that's the other thing. The Hierophant talks about commitments, talks about contracts, talks about relationships that we sort of, that are, you know, for lack of a better word, sanctified. Okay, I'm not trying to, you know, make any commentaries here, but like those are those little like really traditional interpretations of what the Hierophant is. Okay, and so some of you are seeking a way to avoid that or get out of that. Okay, it's not for everybody. That's not even like the strongest message. The biggest message is you are either in contention with the types of people or entities that I was describing, or you're trying to work with them to get to a certain end. That end, regardless of whether you are in partnership with or fighting against them, is the Six of Wands. You want victory. You are striving for victory. You are reaching for it. Like this woman is kind of reaching up towards that orb, towards that, you know, shining ball or whatever. And it's your greatest desire is to be is to be free. Some of you is what this is. And that goes so many ways, you know, free of burden, free of financial debt, free of, you know, homelessness, free of, possibly for some of you, free of religion. You could be looking outside of your religious background and you might have questions about it. You might be investigating, you know, different religious paths or spiritual beliefs and things like that, and you just want to be free of something and have some type of victory in your life. For it's not science, it's simply probability. You all must know, or I must tell everyone who's watching this, that's not in the cards, but for all of you, the victory. You want it. Will you get it? Not all of you. That's just the way it is. That's probability. It has nothing to do with tarot, okay? But for some of you, it's definitely something that you've worked very hard on. You've worked very hard. You've studied it. Like, look at also how, I didn't really hold this card up by itself, but also note how this sword has a spotlight coming out of it or some type of illuminated. Oh my God, thank you. There it is. It's like illuminated at the tip. So you're being enlightened, or you're being wise about this. You're being clever about this. You're waking up to your options, or you're seeing more options. Like I said, there's eyes all over this thing. Oh, I'm going to go back to that. Thank you. They brought me back to that phrase for a reason. And some of you, in that wisdom that you're gaining, again, whether in partnership or in contention against this Hierophant energy, it's going to work out for some of you, and it's going to be due to the fact that you've been dotting your I's and crossing your T's over here with this Princess of Swords energy. I think the Princess of Swords can sometimes have a bad rap because I did mention this word spy, and that is kind of inherent in the meaning. There is an inherent underhandedness to the Page of Swords, to the Princess of Swords. There is this, not everything is what it seems sometimes. Communication could happen, but it's not always the clearest, or it's not always the most upfront. Like I said, a lot of this is going on underhanded or behind closed doors. Secrecy has to happen in order for the Princess of Swords to kind of come out on top sometimes, okay? But again, for some of you, that is the way. That is the way to secure this. You got to play a smarter game. You have to play the long game. You can't just be as demonstrative as maybe you might want to be, as maybe other people might say, hey, Scorpio, why don't you do X, Y, Z? And you're like, I can't do X, Y, Z because it would blow my whole plan up, you stupid fool. Stay out of my business. Like that could be what you're facing. You know what I mean? And that makes sense, especially if you're contending with big entities and institutions. So that's the other thing, going back to what I said at the beginning. There are eyes everywhere. You are not dealing, most of you are not dealing with individuals. You're dealing with a collection of people, a business of people, a corporation of people, some collection of leadership or some council or something like that. And if it has nothing to do with like your business life or your professional life, okay, going back to it, because I mentioned it for a few of you about this marriage thing. A marriage, from what I can understand, even though it is the meeting of two people, it then grows in most cases to be an intermingling of several people. That's why we talk about the mother-in-laws, we talk about the brother-in-laws and the sister-in-laws and all that kind of stuff. Then if you have children together in this marriage, of whatever type of marriage it is, however long it is, I don't care. You have now created life, or you've adopted life into your family, or whatever it is. And now there's just more people, more eyes, right? More eyes in the situation that need to be, to a certain extent, considered. I'm going to leave it at that because that's, again, not even the biggest message. It's part of the message for some of you. And that is a big thing for Scorpio, for many of you. The intermingling of family and your individual needs. How to reconcile that is super much. What the hell is that? I mean, I'll go with it. It's super much on your mind, even though that's terrible English. It is super much on your mind. Okay. Let's see what's going on in your physical space, your physical body, your day-to-day life. It could pertain particularly to your health, to your wellness, but it can, like I said, extend to your physical surroundings and everything like that. Oh, Jesus, what's going on, Scorpio? Toil and labor. Toil and labor. Add that together, that's an 11. Oh, I didn't mention that before. 16, add that together, that's a 7. Any of those numbers, 16, 38, 7, 11, those might mean something to you, but toil and labor is what's the anchor of your physical body. So a lot of you are tired. Your body might be a little beat up at this time because of everything that's going on. Some of you work in a job that's very physical. Some of you might work, I cut my nails, so now I can't lift anything up. There we go. Some of you might work in an industrial place, like a factory or something like that. You might work textiles, like this is, giving me like old school textiles. So you might work in the fashion industry. You might work in, what is that called? Agriculture. Like I'm getting like those big, oh, what are they called? They're bigger than combines. They look like tractors, but they're not tractors, combines, something like that. So some of you might work on a farm in agriculture or whatever. And if your job isn't physical, where you're using your hands and everything like that, it's still taxing on you. You could be sitting at a desk, 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, and still feel just as tired and exhausted and beat up as somebody who worked out in the sunshine all day. You know what I mean? It's all relative. But whatever's going on in your physical space, it's really wearing you down, okay? And some of you might have an orange cat. You see that little orange tabby down there? So some of you, maybe your little orange cat is, you know, easing your strain, helping bring you down after a very trying and exhausting day, something like that. But let's get some more information on this, okay? All right, let's see some more information on this toil and labor card regarding Scorpio's physical body at this time. All right, we'll take it. So we're going to take 9 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. Interesting. One more, please, for toil and labor for Scorpio's physical body. One more, thank you. Okay, 4 cups, yeah. So it's hard right now for many of you to kind of make ends meet. And that could be both in the physical sense or the spiritual sense is what this feels like. So some of you are like working jobs. Okay, well, let me show you individually just so we can see the pretty cards. 9 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Cups. So I feel like some of you, it's not an issue of money, because some of you, the money is good. 9 of Pentacles, you're stable, you're set, your bank account looks pretty nice, okay? But your body, you physically might be tired all the time, anxious all the time. Maybe, again, some of you, you work physical jobs, so you're injured a lot and you're working through the pain, okay, to keep food on the table, to keep the lights on in the house, whatever. And that's sort of where the ends don't meet. For some of you, your monetary body, you know, cash on hand is fine. But to continue doing that is really stressing you physically, mentally, possibly emotionally too, or spiritually as well. Because I did say that. Spiritually, you can't make these ends meet, some of you. You're working jobs that pay the bills. And in this economy, in the middle of this pandemic, that makes a lot of sense. Who's going to throw out a good paying job? And this is not me co-signing on that. This is the rationale that I feel many of you have come to. Who's going to throw out a good paying job in the middle of this economy, in the middle of this global pandemic that all of us are being affected by in some form or fashion? It just doesn't make sense. If you've got people that depend on you, if you've got family or friends, or any, you know, like I said, you could have a bunch of little fur babies at home, okay? But if people or other creatures depend on you, it doesn't make sense. You know, a lot of you Scorpios, because this 9 of Pentacles is here, you are single. So I think you're having a different experience. But a lot of you Scorpios are not single, or you're not single-minded. So you might live alone and you're comfortable living alone. But like I said, you've got friends or family that depend on you, even if you don't live with them. Does that make sense? Some of you, you do have family that you live with or friends that you live with, and they directly depend on you. Whatever it is, like there's this feeling of, I can't let other people down, is what this feels like. And so you hold on to something that might be physically hurting you. Okay, even if your body isn't, you know, incurring any injuries, any bruises or anything like that. Again, if you're just overworking, if you're working multiple shifts, if you're working overtime and you're not getting enough sleep and you're not eating right, that all takes a toll on you. Toil and labor. So for some of you, the money is fine. That's not the issue. It's how you are able to rest. It's how you, or your lack of rest is what this actually feels like. Your lack of rest. I think you desire that with the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups following the 9 of Pentacles here. So like some of you are just like wishing for a day off. And I'm like, so take me, I'm always down for a day off. Take a day off. But some of you, like, you just feel your responsibilities are too much. You can't afford a day off. And maybe you literally can't. I don't know your situation. I don't know the specifics, but that's where it's not even the cash. For many of you, it's not about the money. It's the time that it would, you know, if you did take a vacation, you know, what you would be missing out on, or what would, you know, it's not enough time to get done what you want to get done anyway. So there's just like a lot going on where Scorpio is doing the business of taking care of themselves, taking care of their family, taking care of all their responsibilities, but it's not satisfactory, interestingly. Now, others of you, things are going super well. Like that first group, again, it's like this spiritual thing, like the ends aren't meeting. Some of you, the ends are meeting, but the expectations that are on you is like too much. Like, this second group is like unfulfilled. Like that first group, you're doing the job because the job is a mean to an end, or an end to a means, however the phrasing goes. I can't remember at this time. You don't view it as, gosh, now that I've sneezed, my throat is all messed up. For that first group, your job is your job, and you don't take it for granted, and you appreciate what you have. And I'm not saying the second group doesn't. The second group feels fine to have their job, fine to be doing whatever they're doing with their life, with their money, but it's not fulfilling. You don't feel purposeful, okay? You don't feel your talents are being utilized correctly. Some of you feel like maybe it's a dead-end job, you know what I mean? And so there is this quote-unquote, well, not even quote-unquote, there's like this feeling of like slight guilt some of you might be having in holding on to something that doesn't make you happy. So Nine of Pentacles, again, the money could be straight for several of you. The money is fine. But then the Four of Pentacles is retaining, holding on to something that doesn't necessarily... You hold on to something because you fear losing it. You hold on to something with the Four of Pentacles because if you don't have it, it's going to disturb what you already have. That makes sense. That's most of us. I don't want to lose this job because it's how I pay my bills. It's how I take care of myself. It's how I take care of my family, etc. That makes sense. But some of you are just like, I feel like someone here, and it's not maybe a lot of you, but there's someone here who's like really struggling. Like, I work this job, but it doesn't mean anything to me. And I want my job to mean something to me. That could be, again, due to our good friend 2020. A lot of us are looking for deeper purpose and meaning to our jobs, to our livelihood, to the ways in which we engage in culture, in society, with our friends and our families. 2020 has shaken up a lot of stuff, right? And so I think that's what this is. For some of you, you're kind of like, I have all these good things. I've got all these, wonderful people in my life or wonderful connections, but it's just like, it's not enough. Like, I feel empty inside is what this feels like. That's backed up by the Four of Cups. I feel empty inside. There's something else. Look at this woman. And again, you don't have to be a woman. I'm just saying it because there's a female, or what appears to be a female on this card, right? So here you see someone praying or in a meditative position, and they've got Three Cups in front of them already. Three of Cups is sort of about, in terms of tarot, it's a card of celebration. It's a card of partnership. It's a card of festivities and feeling, joyous. Joyous? God, I can't talk today. Joyous. Thank you. And really just like having a good time and not really seeking much else. Seeking much else. But when you're in a prayer position or in a meditative position, some of you might be doing this. Some of you might be doing mindful meditation. Some of you might be doing vision boards and things like that, trying to figure out what is the missing piece to my puzzle. And you see the Fourth Cup above her head. Now, traditionally, the Four of Cups can also talk about apathy, which is kind of what I think some of you might be going through. It's like, I should be happy, I should be fulfilled, I should feel accomplished, but I don't. The money's great, maybe the status is great, because another thing with Nine of Pentacles is status. It's like the independent lady card, it's the single ladies card. You don't have to be single, but it's like this, I control my own destiny. I'm in control of my life. Nobody tells me what to do. Like, Nine of Pentacles is a very autonomous energy, right? And some of you are in that space. You don't have a horrible boss. You don't work in an industry that's polluting the earth or anything like that. You are in a position. You're kind of you're in a position where maybe you feel you have no reason to complain. However, the Four of Cups and the Four of Pentacles is indicating you kind of have something to complain about because you feel unfulfilled. You're toiling and you're laboring, you're earning your money, you're earning your keep. You're not sponging off the system. You're not, taking handouts from mom or dad or any other person. You're earning your place because the Nine of Pentacles provides for self. So you earn everything that you have, but it still doesn't feel like it's enough. And it's not greed. It's not, I want more money, I want more clout, I want more exposure. For some of you, maybe, but for most of you, it's not that. I want something that fills me from the inside. Interesting. And that first group, it's more like, I'm going to work this job, but my God, it's going to like break me. What the hell was that? That just scared the shit out of me. Number one, Jay doesn't like Halloween. Sorry, Scorpios. Okay. Some of you, happy birthday on Halloween, but I don't play Halloween. I don't do that. I don't know what that was. We're going to press on, but I hope you heard it. Even though it was kind of terrifying. I hope you heard that. Jeez. So we're going to move on. Like, what? That didn't sound like an animal. That sounded like a human being. Screaming. Don't like that. Don't like that. No ma'am, no sir. Okay. Let's just go ahead and move on. So, to your spiritual body. What's going on in your spiritual body? This could be relating to work that you're doing on yourself in your spiritual wellness. Could be, sort of what's pivotal for you to think about at this time or concentrate on. So let's see what it is. Thief? No! Scorpio, why? Thief. Card 24, add that together. That's a 6. So, some of you, this is a little bit out of my jurisdiction, but I will address it because this is what it feels like. Some of you are dealing with an energy vampire. Okay, I've heard that term used before, and I kind of get it. They might be relative to narcissists. These types of people who, take your energy, take your spirit, drain you of that resource that we all have. We all can tap into it and kind of revel in and really utilize our own divinity. But, that's possibly not related because some of you might not see yourselves that way. Ah, okay. So some of you might not see yourselves this way. So you see this guy who's dressed, all fancy and everything like that, walking down this street. And this woman on the left side is kind of heckling him, and the little boy is already in his pockets. So these two, the little boy and the woman, they see this guy and immediately they see, oh, that's a mark. That's somebody that we can take advantage of. That's somebody that we can rob, right? They immediately target this person. He's dressed well. He looks like he's confident but possibly arrogant or whatever assessment they make of this person, right? The guy himself, he doesn't see himself as a target. He doesn't see himself as a mark. He doesn't see himself as a victim. So that could play in here, Scorpio, where you could be dealing with a person or people, as there's two people here of questionable morale, okay? You could be surrounded by people who see you as a target, see you as a mark, see you as a soft touch, and you don't see yourself that way, or you don't see them seeing you that way. Does that make sense? Like you trust them in some sense. Oh, of course I dropped it. Of course. 1 second. Come here, you. Yeah. I'm going to get a bigger table, I swear to God, friends. But anyway, so you guys don't see yourselves that way. But someone or some people around you, I don't know, it goes down here. They see you that way. So energy vampires, narcissists, that could filter back to your first reading with the Hierophant, because this guy is dressed like he's like I'm getting like a banker off of this guy, or like a real estate person off of this guy. So he, are you the energy vampire then? Scorpio, don't do that. And again, it's still a general reading, even though this is designed for you guys for your birthday season. You know, it all can be reversed. So, you know, pick your part and flip it around as much as you need in order to make sense of things, okay? That's interesting. All right, so let's get some clarification here for Scorpio on Thief as the focus point of their spiritual body at this time. Why is Thief the focus point of Scorpio's spiritual body at this time? Okay, the Sun. The Moon. Oh no. Interesting. And the Nine of Wands. Okay. All right. So. Yay, that was fairly easy. So Sun, secondary major for Leo. Could be dealing with a Leo, but you don't have to be. Moon, primary major for Pisces. Could be dealing with the Pisces, but you don't have to be. And the Nine of Wands. Okay. So, definitely energy vampire type stuff. And I'm only using that because it's the term I've heard. I haven't really, like, investigated it beyond its obvious connotation, its obvious interpretation, which is somebody who sucks on your energy in order to survive. Right? That's what a vampire does. Sucks the blood from a person in order to survive. Energy vampire sucks the energy from a person to survive. Now, whether that's you or the other person, I don't know. You know, again, flip it around as much as you need. But I feel as though that kind of relationship that you have with someone, you know, Scorpio, I feel like some of you like are in denial about it. Like some of you don't want to believe that's true of someone. Because again, remember what I said about this Thief card. The man doesn't recognize himself as a mark. The man doesn't recognize that the woman and the little boy are trying to pull one over on him. I'm assuming she could be like a prostitute or just a general, you know, woman of, you know, of a certain life, you know. She's not on his level, so to speak, okay? And the boy is straight up robbing him, right? So I think that this man kind of doesn't recognize these people for who they are. He either dismisses them because they're so beneath him that he thinks he's impervious to them. He thinks that he can't be affected by them, which is an ignorant thought, especially if we combine it with what we're talking about, an energy vampire. Don't think you're above anybody else in terms of, you know, whether somebody can tap into you and steal that from you. You can, even if they're, you know, the lowest person on the totem pole, so to speak, right? In terms of spirituality, in terms of, you know, what exists within all of us, our own divinity, that can be taken and given and shared and swapped. It's all sort of free energy anyway. Not free as in like you give it freely or that it doesn't belong to you, but it's free as in it can be moved, it can be shifted, it can be taken, it can be protected. So that's what I'm sensing. I'm sensing some of you don't realize you have to protect yourselves, or you might be realizing that too late. Or again, you don't want to believe this of the people that you're dealing with, because I think there's a certain optimism that exists with the Sun card. That says this person, friend, family, coworker, whoever, lover in some cases, right? I trust them. I love them. We have such a good time together. That could very much be going on. And that's also maybe why there's a little bit of a confusion here. The prospect of a vampire, you know, creates all kinds of disturbing imagery, like, you know, sleeping in coffins and, you know, fangs and pale skin or glittery skin if you're a Stephanie Meyer fan, right? And there's just like, pardon me, there's just this energy of when we talk about a vampire, that it would be a displeasing person, an ornery person, a monstrous person. No, an energy vampire can be in your life and come sort of in this disguise of the Sun card in some cases. Like this is, I'm going to read this twice because I can feel it goes the other way. So this first way that it goes is that they present themselves very friendly to you. I'm on your side, Scorpio. I love you so much, Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio, we're going to be such great friends, and we're going to make this business a great success. Oh, I'm so happy that we're hanging out, all this other kind of stuff. And that joyfulness, that positivity is kind of like throwing you some of you for a loop. And notice again, my voice is like kind of going scratchy a little bit. This is a hard thing for you to verbalize. This is a hard thing for you to kind of come to terms with. It could be you have someone in your life who was a friend and now they're turning into an enemy, and now you're realizing all the ways in which they were sucking on your energy in the middle of you guys having a wonderful friendship. You know what I mean? And that kind of works for people like that. Because I mean, if you're a vampire, going back to the lore, you know, the the lore of like vampires sleeping in coffins, they can't be seen in the sun. They'll be destroyed. So there has to be a certain mystery to them. They have to kind of play down the fact that they are creatures of the night out here trying to suck the blood out of your body. Or in the case of our good friend Edward, stay out of direct sunlight, otherwise you're going to look like a piece of jewelry coming from Jared's. Okay? So there's like this sort of recognition some of you are coming to, is that you may have gotten played by somebody. You may have trusted someone who never had your intentions or good intentions for you. You may have, here we go. Here's the switch. You may have been the one who was optimistic. You may have been the one who was kind of trying to see the brighter side of things in this sun energy. The sun is arguably the most positive card in the tarot deck, but every card has a high vibe and a low vibe, a quote unquote, a positive or negative side, right? And the negative side of the sun is that it can be too optimistic. It can be too overzealous or excited to the point where it becomes blinding or blinded. Blinding or blinded, same difference. Well, it's not really, but you know. And I mean, think about it. If you go outside and you stare at the sun for too long, what's going to happen to you? Your eyes are not going to be happy with you, and you're not going to be able to see for a while. You will literally be blinded if you stare at the sun for too long, right? So this thing, which is positive overall in our lives, which life wouldn't exist on this planet if the sun wasn't up in the sky doing its business, right? But at the same time, it can hurt you or it can blind you, right? And so that kind of is what's going on in the second part of this, how we can interpret this. So you, Scorpio, were the sun in the situation. And you may have been blinded, not by your own light, like in an egotistical type way, but blinded by your own light as in like, I'm having a good time and I'm going into this with like honest intentions and I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm just walking down this road, walking down this street, minding my business. Nobody's going to bother me. Nobody's going to see me as a target or a mark. Everybody's just going to accept me for who I am and know that I'm a really nice person. And if they ever needed anything from me, they could simply ask. They don't need to steal it from me. So some of you literally were too trusting. Moon card. Secrecies. Secrecies? I can't even talk today. That's very regular. I can't. Anyway, secrecy, lies, deception, manipulation, mask wearing, things with the moon, under the light of the moon, under the cover of darkness. Things just aren't what they seem. Right? So someone here pulled the wool over your eyes, or you were doing it to someone else. Again, it can be flipped. And to realize that, because some of you were really trying to make the best out of a not so great situation. Some of you were really trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt. in terms of being an energy vampire. Like, this person, no, like, we spend so much time together, when you have such a good time together. And maybe that could also be what the trip is. Energy vampire. Energy as a word on its own is like a source of power. It's a source of strength. It's a word that connotates, if you have energy, you're able to function. So some of you have been able to function with this person in your life, in your vicinity, working with them, living with them, building a business together, building a family together, whatever. And you're confused because we made successful businesses, or we were working together for so long and so well, and I never was tired. I never felt tired around this person. I always had the energy to continue, right? That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on here. Oh, baby, here we go. Some of you are realizing it has nothing to do with your energy level. It has nothing to do with how much you can show up and feel invigorated and energized to do the work or be present in the moment. However, the way in which you could note, or some of you are realizing the way in which this person was an energy vampire to you, was that they isolated you. Look at the central figure there, that woman sitting on this iceberg or sitting on this little rock all by herself. Nothing else is to be seen. Number one, that's not typical of the moon card. Even though sometimes there is a lone human, there's normally dogs or crabs or lobsters or something else here. Some other living creature is normally on the moon card. In this deck, no one is here but this solo figure. So this person, for some of you, not all, isolated you. Either physically, literally, like you don't have any other friends, this is your only friend. Wow, for some of you, that's what's going on. Some of you, this person like kicked other friends out of your life. Like basically took over your schedule, took over your free time. If this is a boss, they work you long hours, so now you don't really have coworkers to speak of. You're their main point of contact. You do everything for them directly. You don't have a team to work with. Some of you, this is family. Some of you have overbearing parents or overbearing spouses or overbearing maybe even children. Children who demand so much of your time that you neglect your other children. Now, again, I don't know, the rhymes or the reasons and the details and the nuances, but that's what this feels like. Is some of you are realizing you were so caught up in the good times and the ways in which you and this person were making things work or finding success, or you felt, you felt fine. And yes, that's the way of a fucking thief anyway. Let me tell you, I haven't been one before, but I know the basis. You're not going to be a good thief if people are on to you. If this little kid wasn't such a good thief, this man would probably be knocking him to the ground. What the hell are you doing? Get your hand off my pocket watch, son. So this energy vampire that you've been around in your life, it feels like for a while. For many of you, months, if not years of your life, this person has been around. They are successful because they don't show up to you in that way. I already said that to you before. This man doesn't see that little boy and think, oh, this is someone who's going to rob me. He doesn't recognize he's walking down the street confidently, assured that he's not about to be robbed. So whoever this person is in your life, Scorpio, you trust them, or you have trusted them for so long. And now you get here with this Nine of Wands. Defenses up. Defenses are up. Some of you, it can go beyond being an energy vampire, because I am drawn back to what I was saying earlier about the Hierophant and like the money, like how that pyramid is symbolic of some of the money that we have here in the States. But it doesn't have to apply to you if you're not in the States. It could be the same thing if we're talking about, the euro, okay? Then the Nine of Pentacles, having money with the Nine of Pentacles in your physical body, having the money, but then the Four of Pentacles trying to hold on to it. Some of you, this person not only was thieving you of your energy and isolating you from other people, but they have also in some ways gotten a hand on your finances and or your material wealth, your material resources, okay? I did say that. Some of you, you made a very successful business with this person, and now they're trying to ice you out of your own business. They're trying to take all the profit for themselves. They're not trying to give you your equal share, and you might have to fight them for this. Toil and labor was there in your physical life or in your physical body. Thoughts, lots and lots of thoughts in your mental body. And like I said, covert planning, spying, and all that kind of stuff. Talking with, oh Lord. Okay, so this makes sense. So some of you have woken up to this person and you're ready to go to war. However, see, now I'm like immediately going to take that back. Maybe you're not ready to go to war, but you realize a war might be needing to be fought. You might need to step it up a little bit. And the first thing that a Scorpio does, most of the time, is to go on the defensive. Lock it down. Like you see those wands, how they're looking like, you know, prison bars. Lock down. And I mean, 2020 has been the year of lockdown, period. So maybe in this year, you've come to a lot of realizations. Maybe because of lockdown, you're seeing this person's true colors. Now that you, in some of your cases, have to work more intimately with this person or work with them on a consistent basis, some of that darker side of them that was hidden, that was secreted away with the moon card has come to light, possibly with the sun card coming out first. Maybe the light has been the light has been shown on the moon. That's just a freaking fact of life. That's a fact of astronomy. Okay, the sun is the reason the moon is so bright. It reflects the light of the sun. So some of you are realizing this. This person has been shisty. Someone has been claiming to be something that they're not. And when that happens, Scorpio immediately goes on the defense. So you lock it down. This interaction with this person, how close they can be to you, you know, all those things. You're cautious with them right now. Perfect. That's what you should be. That's a protective move. I support it. Now, going back to that first reading, they might be doing the same thing. Whoever you're dealing with, whatever type of thief you're dealing with, spiritual, monetary, combination of the two, some third type that I haven't even touched on, if they're worth their weight, if they're skilled, like this little boy is skilled, they're not gonna just like let you catch them. They're not gonna go, oh, you caught me, Scorpio. I'm so, I was trying to take from you. You got me. They're not gonna own that. They're gonna fight you. They're not going to want to be exposed. They're not going to want to be deprived of their resource. If they're an energy vampire, if they're a money vampire, or a combination of the two, or something else that I haven't touched on, they don't want you to be wise to their game. So they're going to deny, they're going to do a whole bunch of things. And like I said before, I used the word once, but I didn't really go into it. You could be dealing with a narcissist. And when you cut off narcissistic supply, people freak out. So that sucks. All in all, Scorpio, that's kind of what I expect for you guys. This type of these type of dealings and interminglings of energies. It's crazy. All right, so down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to talk about your purpose. What is the central focus of your purpose at this time? When I use the word purpose, I'm talking about your spiritual purpose. We all have spiritual purpose here, divine purpose, right? And this isn't necessarily what your divine purpose is. It's just a facet of it that you need to be focused on right now, or that is of concern right now, okay? Courtship. For some of you, this has been about an intimate relationship. Possibly some of you, going back to the Hierophant, a marriage. And that is possibly, for some of you, I don't want to say it is your purpose, but it definitely is a part of your journey. It's a part of your development as a spiritual, divine person, is this courtship, this relationship that you have. Some of you, it's courtship in the sense of like, interesting. For some of you, this has never been a part of your life, period. Courtship. Hold on a second. I'm going to pause the video because like I'm getting congested and it's really bothering me. So 1 second. All right, Scorpio, I apologize about that. I could not stand what was going on with my nose, and it's still kind of there. Anyway, so some of you, like, this has never happened in your life, courtship, in any sense. Like, I think some of you are, like, super giving of your time, giving of your energy, giving of your body in some cases, okay? And you're like an open vessel. And with that Nine of Wands being one of the last things that we mentioned from the top readings, I think some of you are finally putting boundaries around yourself, and that is important because it's going to invoke, invite, and demand that courtship exist in your life. You are worthy of people, friends, family, lovers, what have you, all of the above, or just a select few of each of those categories courting you. You're not up for grabs. People just can't come take from you like you're a goddamn buffet, right? If you want to get with Scorpio, you best order me from the, signature select premier menu, because that's where my value is now these days. Because, I mean, if you look at what this is depicting, Victorian era courtship. It's not like today where we're swiping left and swiping right and meeting whoever we want. Courtship back in the day, you got to go and get permission from parents. You got to have public dates. In some cases, you got to have chaperones. And it's going to be a while before you get to be engaged, before you get to be married, and before you get to consummate that relationship. Now, I'm not saying this specifically just for your romantic entanglements or any type of, physical or sexual relationships that you have. For some of you, that's how it's going to come across. And you're going to be, again, putting those boundaries up with people. Now that you've given it up in whatever form and allowed basically people to have you in whatever way they want, your purpose now is to put people through the paces or through their paces and make people earn it. Especially if you're dealing with people, whether it be individuals or a group of people or people within a certain sector of your life, again, family, friends, work colleagues, whatever it may be, just taking from you. No more. That's what that feels like. No more. So let's get some clarification. We're going to switch decks now. Why is courtship the central focus of Scorpio's purpose at this time? Or it's dealing with a courtship that you've already gone through. For some of you, this is like dealing with your purpose at this time is to focus on a relationship that came out of a courtship. Does that make sense? Friend, family, lover, it doesn't matter. Friends, I don't know about you, but I don't give my friendship to everybody. We gotta go on some friend dates, before we can become friends. You know what I mean? So that's so don't take courtship to just mean romantic. For some of you, it very much is, but for others of you, it's in different social relationships in your life. Okay. Clarify courtship, please. Thank you. Last one. Thank you. Why is courtship here for Scorpio regarding their purpose? Don't know what that is. Maybe you saw it, but I didn't see it. Courtship for Scorpio. Why is courtship here, this one? Thank you. No? Thank you. Some of you are going through courtship right now. You're being courted. You're in a long dating process, or you're in a long, I guess, I don't know what it was called back then. I don't know if it was called dating. I don't know what it was called. I guess it was called courting. So some of you are in a long courting thing. And I'm not a traditional, I don't know if you would say it was traditional, but I don't who's that woman? Emily Dickinson or something? Or one of those classic literature women. God, is it Dickinson? Bronte. Maybe it was Bronte. One of them. Where like Sense and Sensibility and what's that other one? Pride and Prejudice, and like that old Victorian era way of like dating or courting, how the two people might meet, but then they have other suitors, and then they're seeing each other at different engagements, and they're contentious, and like they'll never, the idea is that they'll never get together, but it's a long courtship. Like this person over here has to go and be in this other situation and realize this is crap, I don't like that person, and this other person has to get married but then regret the marriage or something. It's just like ridiculous. So some of you are in a situation like that where you're in a courtship, but you don't know you're in a courtship. The person that you're going to end up with, sort of specifically for many of you, romance, but for some of you, it's like people you're going to be friends with. You're not friends with them right now. You might even dislike them right now. Does that make sense? Like Jane Eyre. Oh, God. Like, I don't... This will be the last thing, and then we're going to pick up these cards. And this is just for a few of you who have read that book. Jane Eyre is like... Like when they get together, it's just like they don't like each other. And then they eventually like each other. And reading it, I was just like, oh my God, get on with it. We already know where this is going. So maybe that's what some of you are going through. It's like you could be in someone's vicinity or they're in your vicinity, but like the actual courtship isn't what it seems. Okay? Very strange. So they were like this. So the first card out was Queen of Wands, Ten of Swords, the Chariot. Okay, absolutely. So, oh man. Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, could be dealing with a fire sign, don't have to be. Ten of Swords, and then the Chariot, major arcana for Cancer. It's definitely giving me that resolute energy that I was speaking of at the beginning, which is basically you've been, or at least people have been treating you, even if you haven't offered yourself as that, people have been treating you like a buffet, and there's no more of that. I feel this Ten of Swords in the middle is kind of the focal point of it all, or at least, like, that's the revelation. Like, after you've been bruised and battered for however long, to whatever degree, to whatever level of severity, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, no more. You know what I mean? Like, people have taken advantage of me. People have taken me for granted. People have treated me like an option, again, like a salad bar. Okay. In some of your dating lives, maybe that's what's been going on. Like, maybe you didn't know, even though we don't have any cards out here of it, and I'm not going to use the phrase, but some of you didn't know that the person that you were dating was dating other people. And you're like, oh, I was an option to you? I wasn't your primary choice? Okay, no more of that. And that's not for everybody, because that's not what everybody wants, but that works for some of you where you were seeking exclusivity, Queen of Wands style, like, make me your number one, because that's exactly who I am. And someone didn't do that, and that kind of left you feeling, stabbed in the back and betrayed. And for some of you, again, maybe that's what the courtship is signaling. You've been dating this person for a long time, and you're like, we've been going at this for months. Some of you, we've been going at this for years. Where's my ring? And this person has dodged it and has been like, I'm not really interested in marriage, or I'm not interested in settling down, or there's no reason, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, that's not my standard, and that's not what I want. Going back here a little bit. Searching, seeking marriage, possibly. Because again, Hierophant can be a marriage card. So you could be, some of you like put questions to a person. How come you're not marrying me? How come you're not proposing to me? How come you don't want to be committed to me? And this person dodges you forever. And you're just like, I gotta, again, with that spy energy of the Princess of Swords, I gotta figure this out. And so you do a little fact finding, you do a little Sherlocking on your own, and you find out that this person doesn't want to commit to you because they are committed to someone else already. Okay, so that could be it. Or they just play the field, and that's how they are. And, Scorpio, we all get got sometimes. This isn't, and you guys normally have that sixth sense about you. But like I said, some of you got duped over here because this was an energy vampire, or this was a narcissist, and you were not prepared for them. But now that you know, and you're aware, you shut it down. You shut it down and you move on. Okay? In other cases, courtship, I told you, some of you, this courtship is actually a formulated relationship. It actually is in commitment. It could be a marriage. It doesn't have to be. And you lost yourself in that. I'm seeing you go in as the Queen of Wands, you get wrecked in the midst of that relationship to a certain degree, to a certain level of severity. It just totals you. Going back to toiling and laboring, right? Something in your life is just overwhelming you, and it could have been this relationship, it could have been this person, and you feel like this. You feel like this poor buck being assaulted with all these swords and just totally destroyed. And after all great falls comes the rise, right? After all great defeats comes the comeback, right? And this Chariot, for any group of you or whatever your story is, there is an eventual deuces on this situation. Moving on to better prospects, to brighter horizons, to a more fulfilled or balanced situation and circumstance with the Chariot card. So I feel many of you, that is sort of the purpose here, or that in totality. So the focal point or the anchor of it is the courtship. Whether you've been, looking like a salad bar to somebody, or whether you were, in a strong commit with someone. And it doesn't have to be romantic. Again, we could be talking about family members here. Okay, we could be talking about this whole time you thought you had the confidence and the trust of a cousin, and they betrayed you in some type of way. They stabbed you in your back. Like I said, some of them, they've been coming at your money, coming at your resources. You could be supporting this person, okay? And you might find yourself, why am I paying these bills for this person? Why am I paying their way in life? Oh, they're treating me like I'm a buffet. They're taking from me, easily taking from me, taking my energy, taking my money, right? It does not have to be a romantic thing. However, some of you are realizing this relationship, or the quality of relationships that you have where people take from you easily or people take you for granted, is sort of in a way betraying yourself. And nobody's going to take, no thief, going back over here, no thief is going to turn away from that life if there's no consequence. If a thief can get away with being a thief, they're going to do it. If you don't hold someone accountable and say, hey person, you're taking from me. I feel awful when you do this to me. I feel betrayed by the things that have transpired between us. I feel as if you have abused me in some type of way. You've taken my kindness for weakness, whatever. Unless you tell that person, or unless you do something to change up the rhythm and the rhyme of how y'all get along and how y'all interact with each other, there's nothing this person or this energy is going to change, right? So then you have to create barriers, you have to create boundaries, and and the greatest thing you can do for an energy vampire, a narcissist, a thief, someone that takes you for granted, is to cut the supply and let them go. Free yourself. Let them go, walk away, do whatever. And again, I'm not like telling you to do it now. I'm not telling you to pack a duffel bag and just throw all the caution to the wind. But when you begin to value yourself, Queen of Wands, which is how some of you started in this situation. Some of you started this way, but you lost yourself in the midst, okay? But some of you never saw yourself this way. Once you do, Queen of Wands brings a broom and a mop and cleans up the mess of the Ten of Swords. We're not this. We're not this victim freaking animal. We're not this prey animal that you're just going to treat a certain way and discard and come around when you want to come around, or take from me whenever you want to take from me. No, baby, I got value, and my value is going away. My value is on reserve. Like I said, I'm not some freaking buffet anymore. I'm an exclusive premium menu item. You can't even, it's one of those things when you go to a restaurant. Remember those restaurants? When you go to a restaurant, it's either not listed or it's listed, but there's no price next to it. That's when you know you're messing with something like that's really top shelf. And that's what I think some of you are having to realize, or hopefully you are realizing it, and you're going to act differently because of that. That's beautiful. That's a glow up. That's progression, and I'm here for it. So your purpose, Scorpio, I think, is to see yourself beyond whatever this is. Maybe that's not the right way to say that. For some of you, beyond what this is, because for some of you, again, you've just accepted the way that one particular person, or the vibe or the energy markers of several people have treated you. Again, like a buffet. Pardon me. So you need to see beyond that. Others of you... Oh, they want me to go back here. What's up? Oh, right. Oh, okay. That's super specific, and I don't know if that's true, but it could be for some of you. So for some of you, remember I said, however long ago it was, that some of you are in like a long courtship with another person that you might not even be friends with at this time. You might even know this person because, you know, this is all spiritual. And so you might not have ever even encountered this person before. And that could be why the Chariot is here. So some of you, your purpose is that you will have a long courtship with a person after you go through some hellfire, basically. Now, what I found to be interesting is that they put in here knight in shining armor, or knight on a white horse, because, you know, you see these horses and you see this very stoic looking character in the center there. So for some of you, you're going to meet this person when you travel, or you're going to meet this person and they're going to feel like a white knight, or they're going to feel like this, you know, godsend of a person. You might already know them. They might already operate in your life in that capacity in some type of way, but I don't want to get too storybook or fairy tale about it because, you know, that's just not reality. And I don't have anything against it. I love stories. Clearly, I watch movies all the time. And when I read, I tend to read pretty good books. But I don't want you guys to get like too wrapped up in, you know, the fantasy of it. So keep it grounded. Let's say it that way. Keep yourself grounded, okay? Now, what's going on with your spiritual connections? Your soul connections, if you have any to speak of. Friend, family, lover, whatever, okay? And if you've been with my channel for a while, you already know what my definition of a soulmate is. But if you have a soulmate of a particular significance, of a particular importance of in your life right now, what is your relationship with that person or people? And what is the central focus of it? Mature woman. Oh, no. I shouldn't say oh, no, but I did say oh, no. Mature woman, Scorpio. Card number 6 in the Kipper deck. So for some of you, your soulmate, straight up, or one of your soulmates, is your mother. Or the mother figure in your life, whether it's your literal mother, whether it's an auntie, a great-grandmother or a grandmother, or an older sister. Highly feminine energy. If not a physical female, high feminine energy, okay? Because for some of you, it doesn't have to come in the body of... Oh, that's deep. Oh, I'm going to say this. Oh, am I going to say this? I am. I'm going to say this. And it's a deep cut because I easily contemplate this because this is my personal belief and I'm not a Scorpio, not dealing with a Scorpio. For some of you, this soulmate of yours is a mother to you from a previous life, but might be in the body of a man. So, could be a brother, a friend, a father, a husband, a boss, whatever. But in a previous lifetime, might not be the last lifetime you had on this earth, if you believe in that sort of thing. But somewhere back there in your Akashic records, okay, somewhere back there in the trajectory that you're on, this person was a mother to you, if they're not already a mother in this life, okay? So take it however it might resonate with you. It might not resonate at all. But this person, you have a mother bond with them, period, paragraph, as my own mother says. And she's not a Scorpio. So I just want you to know, I don't have a dog in this race. I don't have a dog in this fight. But the mommy vibes are strong here, okay? So let's see more about this person. Well, is there anything else before I shuffle it with this deck? I mean, the deck itself, come on. Ugh, I shouldn't have cut my nails the other day. There we go. The deck itself is very opulent. It typically, many of the cards, not all of them, depict people of certain social status. And so this woman also is in that sort of, you know, upper class, you know, aristocratic type of, I mean, this woman is not a street worker, right? She's not a streetwalker, right? This woman isn't, you know, a local nun or anything like that. This is a woman who comes from status. So for some of you currently, whoever this person is, male or female, again, they would have a high feminine energy about them. And not feminine as in effeminate if they were a man. They could be masculine and burly and all that stuff, but they might have a sensitivity about them. They could cry at the drop of a hat. They could, you know, work in a industry that is typically feminine. You know what I mean? So take it all with a grain of salt and you know, be a little open-minded to how you can interpret or figure out who this person is. If you're like, I think it could be him, but I don't know if it's him, it could be. So what is it saying? All right, so a person of status, and that's super important here. The fact that this person, either in this life currently, comes from a life like that, comes from a socioeconomic standing, such as upper class, or they have values, or they seek that life. If they don't have it, they want it. Okay? And if they don't have it now in this life, it could be because they had it in a previous life and they feel cheated. They feel shortchanged. Oh, for some of you, you're like a meal ticket to this person. Like, this could be like a stage mother for some of you. Oh, like if you have it, if you have a talent, artist on that card, thoughts, right? Artist. You could have a talent, a natural talent, and, or whatever it is. And this person, succubus, energy vampire, could be forcing you to work or taking credit for your work, taking the profits from your work, which leaves you unfulfilled, Scorpio. If you're a talented artist, singer, dancer, whatever, if you're a talented freaking surgeon, I don't care. It's your life, it's your talent, it's your skill, it's your ability. But you work the job, you use your skill, you use your talent, and this person reaps those benefits. Because again, this, for some of you, this person comes from a vibe, an energy, an experience, a lifestyle where riches, money, status, clout, access, excess, all those things means so much to them. And if you are a cash cow, they milking you. They are milking you. If you are a cash cow to them, whether they be your friend, your own mother, your brother, your lover, your anything, I don't care. They are milking you. Or you're milking them. It can go the other way. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into this because why, Scorpio? What is this? What's going on? Let's clarify. Why is the mature woman the focal point and the focus of Scorpio's soul connections at this time? And again, let me clarify one more time. It does not have to be one single person. Again, be a little bit open to this. This could be an energy marker across several people. You don't have to be getting used, and people don't have to be getting access to you. It doesn't have to be one solitary person. It can be multiple people, okay? Again, like a salad bar, like a buffet, right? Many takers for some of you. Many takers. So why is the mature woman here for Scorpio in their soul connections? Please clarify why this card has shown up for Scorpio. Thank you. Okay. This is coming out pretty... Oh, God, yes, this is coming out very fast. Where'd it go? All right, 1 second. I swear I'm going to get a new table soon, guys. I swear. I promise. Hopefully. I need to find one. Everyone that I look for is, like, not exactly what I want. All right, so the first card that came out was... Eight of Swords. The Queen of Cups. And the Lovers in reverse. So, badow. And that is something I used to say a lot in college. So I'm like, I'm so old. I'm not even cool anymore. Not that I ever was cool, but anyway. Eight of Swords. You have a deep, this is soul connections. That's the purpose of this space. So you have a contract with a specific person, or again, people that carry this energy marker. So let me address those who with the energy marker. When I say energy marker, I'm meaning there's a similar characteristic across several different people at several different phases and stages and time periods in your life that kind of have a similar strain to them. They're markers. They're identifiable. They're similar, right? So in that case where it's not a person, you have a contract on your own. You have something within your spiritual work here on earth, your spiritual experience here on earth is to combat that, is to confront that, is to heal that, is to work through that marker. Doesn't mean it's a specific person, but just like maybe you have a wounding surrounding money. Maybe you have a wounding or a difficulty that your spirit, your soul is seeking to get some clarity on or experience again, but in a different way regarding security and stability, right? Here we go. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Also think about the aspect of your own house. In the astrological wheel, Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th house. 8th house deals with other people's money and possessions and resources. That's not all of the 8th house, but that's a part of it. Also think about your opposite sign, Taurus. Taurus is the sign of my money, my possession, my material possessions and resources, okay? So there is something here for several of you, not all of you, that deals with possessions, material wealth, money. And there's something in there that needs attention. I don't know to what degree. I don't know what you need to do. You'll figure it out. You research it if you choose. Now, that's the marker, right? If it's a person, again, I think some of you, they embody this motherly energy in your life right now, or they have been a mother to you in a previous lifetime. If that's the case, you clearly have a mother wounding. Many of us do. It's not exclusive to Scorpios. Don't feel isolated. Don't feel that you're being called out. Most people, regardless of sign, have some kind of mommy issue or a daddy issue, okay? So that might be what you need to consider. What are the woundings I have with my specific mother, or my relationship with the people that raised me, or the feminine energies that brought me up, whether or not you were raised by a specific woman who was your mother. You could have been raised again by an aunt, an older sister, what have you, right? In that case, it becomes more complex, because if this person shows up in your life as your mother or someone of significance that you've relied on, that you've built up a relationship with, that you have this rapport and understanding with, it's all difficult. I'm not trying to say one is worse than the other, but I think Scorpio, because of your inherent loyalty, you struggle to see this person for who they truly are, which we discussed over here in your spiritual body. And again, this is soul connection or spirit connection. So they're probably very much related. This person who's the energy vampire very well could be the mature woman. Okay. So that could be one, and that person could be one and the same. They don't have to be, but they could be. If they are, let me tell you, you are going through it, and what it feels to me, 8 of Swords, you don't see your options. You don't see your own freedom. You've been locked away in a state of confusion, manipulation, or you've been manipulated, you've been deceived, you've been puppeteered, or this is how you feel. Even if it's not true or entirely true, and it's not as nefarious or as dubious as all of that sounds, and certainly how this card looks, like she didn't wrap herself up, she didn't blindfold herself, somebody put her in that position, right? More than likely. But again, if it's not like totally outright Scorpio was just like someone was pulling your strings, at least that's how you feel. And what makes that more complicated is that you don't feel you have a way out of it. Even though, traditionally, what we see in the Eight of Swords is a very escapable situation. We don't see anybody keeping watch over this woman. We don't see anybody, making sure the blindfold stays on, that those ropes stay on, or that she, somehow is able to wise up and kick those swords out of position, or take one up and like cut herself loose or defend herself. There's a presumption, or excuse me, not a presumption. There is sort of a clever, not even clever. The reality is nobody is forcing her to be here. And that sort of is, not to get too on the nose, that sort of is like, I always end up like coming, not to the defense, but like putting rationale to like devious acts. If someone kidnaps a person, you can't watch them all the time. If you're going to keep someone for weeks or months on end, locked up in a basement, assuming you have a normal life to speak of in some way, you can't stay dedicated to watching that person. And this is like, we can talk about real life accounts where you get someone stuck in a state of fear, so stuck in a state of fear that they don't want to escape. They don't dare question their ability to escape. They are conditioned into staying, and they are convinced they are going to remain where they are, even though, they very well could escape. Like, I hope that makes sense to you guys, because, I watch a little bit of true crime stuff, and I've watched some, movie fictitious portrayals of people being kidnapped. And part of the story is you become conditioned and so fearful of trying to escape that you dare not plot, even though you very well could. Because there are times when your kidnapper is going to be relaxed. They're not going to be home. They're going to be passed out drunk somewhere, or, they forgot to, tighten your ropes all the way and your wrist is a little loose. And now that my wrist is a little loose, then I can get my other hand and get my feet untied. You see what I mean? So there's a conditioning that some of you are in that you don't see the times and the ways and the circumstances of which you could escape. Or at least that's how it was. Because I'm going to go back here and talk about that good old Princess of Swords who's spying and trying to figure out ways to get what she wants. And I only say she because it's a princess. I could be talking to a male. It doesn't matter. So I'm feeling a connection between this pile that we're talking about regarding the mature woman. A little bit here also with your purpose, but definitely these two top corners. Your mental body and your spiritual body. So regarding this soul connection with this person, you feel trapped. You're not, but that's how you feel. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what the escape route is. I can't tell you what to do to get yourself to a better position. All I can tell you is whatever you feel you cannot do, that's false. It's absolutely false. Unless you are literally watching my video tied up in a basement somewhere or in an attic somewhere, fearful of your physical safety in your physical life, I'd be hard pressed to agree that, yeah, Scorpio, you have no chance. You have no chance of getting yourself out of that situation. I hard disagree. Now, the second card that came out was the Queen of Cups. Water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You could be dealing with another water sign, or this is you. Okay, there we go. For some of you, like I said, some of you, this is like a stage mother. They don't have to be your mom again, and they don't have to be a woman. But there's somebody here who sees your skill, your talent, and they reap those benefits. And they take from you, and they put you in a certain situation, or they encourage you to take certain actions or inactions, interesting, or inactions in your life because it reaps benefits for them, right? That is pervasive. Or that has been allowed to exist in your life because you did not have, or you haven't had up until this certain point, a certain degree of self-love. You might appreciate yourself. You might appreciate your talents. In some of your cases, this is about beauty, because that could be also what's going on here. I'm getting the sense, I did say that earlier, talking about this card, textiles and like fashion industry. Some of you could be like a model. And this could be like your agent, or I don't know how that works, but the person who manages you, and they want you to do all these gigs, and they want you to be on these social media platforms, and they want you to be all in these commercials and go to these shows and blah, 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 because it makes their brand better, or it builds up, you know, business for them, blah, 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 right? So some of you have been conditioned into seeing your value in a very narrow path. I'm only good at this. I only have this value. Going back here about value and social status. I only have the value of bringing this towards other people. Some of you don't know your own value. You don't know your own worth. You don't love yourself in the way that other people, you don't know. You love yourself in the eyes of others. You love yourself in the eyes of others, meaning the value you have, the love you feel for yourself, your worth has been defined by other people, and you just accept it as fact. I'm only as good as my talent. I'm only as good or as valuable as my smarts. I'm only as good or as valuable as my looks. I'm only good or as valuable as how many dollars I have in the bank. Whatever. That is crap. And some of you have experienced the opposite. Let me go ahead and clarify that. You've been told you have no value. You've been told you are not worth anything because you can't bring home the bacon, because you can't offer yourself up on a silver platter to other people like an open buffet or a cash cow, because out of all the children, you're the only one that can't dance, you can't act, you can't, stitch or sew, you can't do anything. You're garbage, you're worthless. That's what some of you have believed for a long time. Either you believe your value is limited to a very narrow avenue, a very specific skill or talent, or you have no value, no talent, and nobody would ever want you. Regardless, Scorpio, you are seeing yourself in the eyes of another person. Your love for yourself, your valuing of yourself has been dictated to you, and that is not the way. That is not the way. The Queen of Cups, I think, is showing up as a signal to yourself. This is you. See how she's coming up out of that water? She's awakening from, I feel like this emerging. I'm feeling like emerging from a deep, well, it's not even deep, but emerging from a pool of water. Like, this is so random, but I'm just going to say it because it's the visual that's popping up in my head. Some of you might be doing like a deprivation chamber work, like as a part of therapy. Like, I've known a friend or two who have gone into like one of those like mini like pool pods or something where it's like pitch black. There's no sound. I think you lay down in salt water because that'll allow your body to float. And there's just like nothing. No, you can't see anything. You can't hear anything. All your senses are deprived. And in that deprivation, something is meant to happen. So maybe one or two of you have done that. But that's what this feels like. And I mean, we were talking about it here under your purpose. It kind of was signaled definitely with the waking up and realizing, hey, maybe I'm dealing with an energy vampire. Maybe I'm dealing with a narcissist. I think that's what this Queen of Cups is realizing. Now, this is not overnight work. This is not something that after you even watch this video, you're going to be like, yep, that's it. I'm ready and get on this new path. No, this is going to be a continual work that you have to do. You're going to have to become your own mother. Mature woman, mother wounding, whatever your issue is. You're going to have to become a mother to yourself, which is, kind of what a lot of what I'm seeing of a lot of like holistic healers are talking about. We have to be the parents that we did not have to ourselves. This generation, I'm going to say of like Gen X and younger, are going to be the first like generations of people that really, really subscribe to that journey of becoming the parents that we did not have. Because many of us, not all, but many of us were raised by or were in the vicinity and grew up around broken people who didn't know and had no concept of the things that they were doing and how toxic they were, how averse they were how damaging they were to the children or other people they were dealing with. And we might still be dealing with those same people if we have close relationships. So like I said, some of you might have to mother yourself in place of the parental figures that you have. Queen of Cups, compassionate, super compassionate. If this isn't you, you will be coming into contact with someone who is like this. So damn compassionate. Cares a lot about the well-being of yourself or other people. And the downside of that is it can be a little idealistic, so beware of that. Keep it grounded, okay? But you see how she's submerged in the water. Water in tarot indicates emotional capacities, right? And the emotional experiences that we have. This person, they might be a psychic or just a therapist or they might just be some type of healer, or that's work that you're interested in. Maybe you have a natural talent for dancing and singing or whatever else. Maybe you are a talented surgeon, or maybe you are a wonderful, engineer, whatever it is. But maybe your passion, because that's the other part about the Queen of the Queen of Cups, thank you, is that she can follow her passion sometimes. And maybe your passion is more philanthropic. Maybe your passion is more in service of others. Maybe you've been working that corporate 9-to-5, going back up here, where the money is solid, the money is tight, but you're not feeling like you're having an impact. You feel as though it's not your life's purpose or your life's calling. But the reason you're doing it is because maybe somebody has convinced you having a 6-figure salary is way more important than helping your community. So the Queen of Cups, whether it be you or someone else, is your wake-up call. There's so much more in life that can enrich you, that has nothing to do with the physical, has nothing to do with your money, has nothing to do with your skill and your talents and how you can make a buck off of that. There's more complexity to you, or there's a different type of value to you that you are, I hope, you would be wanting to find and explore and really cultivate. Now, last card you have here is the Lovers in reverse. This is Major Arcana for Gemini. Some of you are dealing with a Gemini. You don't have to be. That's what it looks like in the upright. So for some of you, I mean, even though that card is, in name and in its depiction talking about lovers, I did say that. For some of you, that weirdo deep cut, I find it to be weird because I think most people don't think in those terms, but it very well could be true. That some of you could be in a relationship with someone who used to be your mother in a previous life, period, paragraph, okay? And that could be why the Lovers has shown up. You are lovers this time around, but previous lifetimes you were not lovers, okay? I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm not trying to gross you out or anything like that. That's literally what could be happening. And anyway, so this coming in reverse, when we see the Lovers, we're thinking of a bond. We're thinking of making choices, head over heart decisions and things like that, and really aligning with a soulmate. In some cases, or in some readers' estimations, this is a soulmate card. We're in the soul position, so I'll take it. But remember Jay's caveat, if you've been with my channel before, all soulmate relationships are not positive ones. They're not something that you're swinging from the rafters about and you're overjoyed with. Sometimes they're very trying, they're very taxing, and they're very, very difficult. So if that's what's going on, perfect. One of your soulmates is really trying in your life, and it's difficult for you to deal with this person. It's difficult for you to sort of have a peaceful connection with this person. That very well could be the quality and the type of soulmate connection you have with them. Do not think that all soulmates are made out of, rainbow and sunshines and fairy dust. No way. It's not possible. Okay? And go back to what I said a little bit, is that some of you have a soul contract with this person. I mean, soulmates, you all have, that's the premise of all soulmate relationships. You have a contract, but some contracts take a short time. Some of them take a long time. Some of them are easy. Some of them are hard. This feels like one that's super hard for you, Scorpio. And I don't know in what way. I don't know what the nuances or details of it are, but being that it's in the reverse, I think some of you are coming to, I think you're like reconciling this idea, because for some of you, and this is why I don't use this word very, very flippantly in my work. Some of you, you think soulmates are forever, and or that they're not meant to hurt you, that they're not meant to be dissatisfying or displeasurable or hurtful or anything like that. And I just explained it to you. That's not always the case. And it's definitely made all the more harder for you if this person has significant position in your life. If this person literally is your mother, and I tell you your soulmate is your mom, but your mom is a piece of work, that she and you have a tense, very wrought or very fraught, very challenging relationship, you're kind of like, well, Jay, what the fuck is that? I'm telling you, it's showing up here in the cards, and you're having to reconcile with that. The person that you were born to, who may or may not treat you the way you want to be treated, who may or may not take advantage of you, who may or may not be a narcissist or an energy vampire, is a soulmate to you. There's a purpose to that. I don't know what it is. You will figure it out. You can explore it if you want. You don't have to. You can do whatever you like. But that is the significant relationship that is highlighted here. Those are the energy markers, or some of the I suppose, highlights or clues to who these types of people are in your life. I think they might play on that angle with this Lovers card. I'm just going to talk about this quickly and then we're going to wrap up. I think some of them might play on that energy or that sentiment with you. Well, because I am your blank, your mother, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, whatever, okay? That means forever. They might hammer on that. Blood is thicker than water. They might hammer on that as a means and a device to control you. I said that earlier. Some of you have been manipulated, puppeteered. The devil card did not come out here. And so, you know, and it doesn't have to show up here just for that energy to be present, you know, but there is this energy that I feel where someone has leaned on you. Strong-armed you. Thank you. Strong-armed you into a certain belief about yourself and or about the relationship that you share with them. And that can affect all other relationships. If this person, good old mature woman, literally had a hand in raising you and helping you develop as a human being, as an adult, you now believe that you are a buffet because that's how they treated you. So everybody has access to Scorpio because my mother has access to me all the time. She doesn't have boundaries with me, so I don't have boundaries with my friendships. I don't have boundaries with my dating partners. I don't have boundaries with my other family members. No, no, no. Listen, we're going to cut it, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Someone may have influenced not only your relationship between you and them, but all of your relationships, especially if they had a hand in raising you, okay? Scorpio, that's your reading. Oh my gosh. Not as crazy as, I think the one I did for you guys in mid-October was pretty crazy. I remember being really hyped, and I don't remember what I said, but anyway. Scorpio, that is your reading for your birthday reading. If it resonated with you, please leave a comment, leave a like. Feel free to share the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. All of that helps support the channel. That would be super great if you did that. So what's coming up for you guys? So this is your birthday message. Cool. You're going to have a November reading. You're going to have a mid-November reading. And you're live. I didn't mention it at the top, so I might do like a separate announcement video. Or maybe I'll edit it. No, I'm not going to edit it. That's going to be too much. But anyway, your live with me is going to be on November the 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern time here in the States. So if you want to see me live here on the channel, come ask me a question. I'll answer it with any of my tarot decks that I have on hand. If you want to join me for that event, that would be super cool. Again, if you want a personal reading, that information is down in the description box. And if you have any questions before you place an order, just email me at the same address and I'll answer you as soon as I can, okay? Scorpio, I thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care.